Advent's a time for hope. But is this hope just for ourselves, or is it for something more? The prophet Isaiah, whom we hear from most as Advent begins, tells us to hope for much more than for ourselves. In our readings earlier this week, Isaiah said all nations and their armies are streaming toward Jerusalem. They'll beat their swords into plowshares, their spears into pruning hooks. Wars will end. There'll be peace for all. All creation is at peace on God's holy mountain, Isaiah says. The lion and the lamb play together. Little children join them. All people eat together on God's holy mountain, Isaiah says. There's no more hunger. There's a banquet for all. Jerusalem will be a city restored like a rock where all will be safe at home. The deaf will hear, the blind will see, the poor and the humble are welcome. Justice will be equal for all, Isaiah says. Are these impossible dreams? Most of Isaiah's contemporaries thought so. They saw Assyrian armies coming toward them. Only destruction seemed to be ahead. And do we think these are impossible dreams too? That all nations will be united, that wars will be no more, that all creation will flourish in harmony, that all the hungry will be fed, all immigrants will have a home, the poor will be cared for. It's hard to hope for these things as we look at our world today, isn't it? Hard to work for a vision like that, given the world that we live in. Our readings from Isaiah this Sunday are from chapter 40, which speaks of a voice in the desert crying out, "Prepare the way of the Lord. Make straight his paths." Matthew's gospel says that the voice in the desert is John the Baptist. Commentators believe this section of Isaiah is from someone speaking for Isaiah. Someone speaking not in Jerusalem but in Babylon, years after Isaiah. He's calling Jewish exiles to come home to Jerusalem. But it's been a long time. Some in Babylon have given up on Jerusalem and God's promises. Some like it where they are. Some wonder if they have the strength to come back. Isaiah and John call out to them in the desert to come home. The scattered sheep have lost their way. Remember who you are, they say. You're God's children. Turn to God, for the kingdom of God is at hand. You know, it's no secret that our church is losing members today. 6 leave for everyone who joins us. We're experiencing an exile. But we shouldn't lose hope in our exiles. We shouldn't lose hope in our church or in our world. We need to hope not in ourselves, but in God's promises. So in Advent, we call out in the desert, "Come home."